think that's a very American question. I mean, I think that many societies wouldn't even pose it that way, and it reflects the fact that American history, although it's had its unfortunate periods, has been basically an incredibly happy story. Again, not for all Americans, but if you think of sort of where the United States began in 1776 and where it ended up in 2007, it's a remarkable run of success. And it's partly because we did some things right, and it's also partly because we got very lucky in where the country was located. The fact that the native population turned out to be very susceptible to disease that was brought over from Europe. The fact that the European countries kept beating each other up while we sat here and became more productive. So we've been very fortunate. So we have this view of the world that everything tends to go well, and therefore your question, how can we solve all these problems so this happy story continues? Well, of course, it hasn't been as happy a story for Russia throughout the 20th century, for much of Europe, which destroyed itself twice in the 20th century. Other parts of the world don't tell quite the same happy story. So I think the first thing I would say is we shouldn't be expecting perfection. We're not going to be solving all of these problems, and it's not like bad things will never happen to Americans or to other people. We want to try to do the best we can within facing the set of problems that we now face and with the set of resources at our disposal. So step one is be realistic about what we think we can accomplish, and then start ticking off the various problems and start working on them. I think Americans, again, tend to think of it as sort of, I want a perfect answer because I'm an American citizen and I'm entitled to live for 85 years in relatively good health and in a pretty comfortable house with a pretty nice family. That's not the way it really works, even in America. The second thing that we have to remind ourselves as a country, that knowledge turns out to be a good thing, that we ought to be basing our policy decisions to the extent that we can on robust analysis, on the best available expertise, on facts, what people call reality-based analysis. It's troublesome when you read about a president who says, he likes to go on his gut instincts. Nobody's gut instincts are that good. And one of the things that has allowed us to get to where we are today as a country, but I think also more broadly in the world, has been to prize knowledge, to prize research, to place a lot of social resources in that place and encourage people to pursue ideas as much as they can. And it's, I think, very short-sighted for any society when it starts shortchanging its intellectual community, or when it starts ruling certain ideas out of court and saying, no, you can't work on that, you shouldn't write that, you shouldn't say that. That's what strangles human creativity, and we're going to need some creative solutions to address the various problems we've already talked about. Again, we get that by valuing intellectuals of all kinds, natural scientists, philosophers, artists, etc., but also giving them lots of freedom to explore ideas